Hi, I'm Dave, owner of Future Past Vintage Collectibles with my daughter Rachel.
Hello.
As usual, talking comics.
Real quick, we do claim sales every single week over on Instagram. Our next one's July 24th from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yep. We focus on super, super high-grade bronze comics, and they are so successful. They've been really great, so you should check us out over there at our next one.
And you never know. We have some sales that are mid-grade Silver Age, so we try to curate every show. Make sure to check it out.
Yep, make sure you subscribe here because we do claim sales here as well, and follow us over on Instagram.
We buy collections. We're fair. We're easy to work with. Check us out if you ever think you want to sell things or trade things or do something with your funny books.
Anyway.
Yeah.
If you want to reach out to us, our website's linked down below. You can message us there.
And what are we doing today?
We are looking at some comic books. Big surprise.
I got a box of slabs that I got in an auction. And we're going to go through those, but
they're a little different.
Yeah, they're nuanced, and I'll show you why. They're not just a regular, like I was looking for keys. There was a certain thing that was being sold, and I bought some for that reason. Also, I want to go over kind of a grading exercise with you. Okay. And talk about Silver Age. So a lot of people feel like the era 1960 all the way to 1969 is a Silver Age. 69 picks up bronze. It was essentially this 12-cent cover. If you see a 15-cent cover, you're into the Bronze Age. There are a few 10-cent covers, and I think most notably is Showcase number 4, which a lot of people feel kicked off the Silver Age in superheroes for DC, and Marvel followed up later. What we're talking about today is Gold Key. And for some reason, when I was collecting, we didn't buy a lot of gold keys. I don't know if they was available or if they was popular, but like this particular book, I think came out in 1965. This is Lost in Space number 20. So I'm going to show you the book. But I'm going to have Rachel take a peek at it, and I'll talk about it for a moment. So this particular book, I was a big fan of the television series Lost in Space. I'm also a really big fan of science fiction and these kinds of stories from this era. So I picked these up in the Cherry Pick collection that we just did a video about. They had a lot of mid-grade stuff in it that people just kind of overlooked because it was overpriced, I think. This particular book, though, there's 4 of them. As I was going through them, processing them, I stopped and looked at these, and first of all, they feel really good in hand, right? Yeah. I mean, it's got
super glossy.
It's really glossy. It's very tight. It's a little bit bigger than normal comic books. So it's got bone white pages. It's a very nice copy. So what grade do you think this book's in?
I was thinking very fine.
So very fine, which in CGC talk is 8.0, and we're very close. I think it's probably a very fine minus.
There's a lot of bends and like nail dings.
Yeah, here's what I'd like to do if you don't mind. Let's go over the book because people are always asking about grading, and we're going to grade it together and talk about this book. So one thing that stands out about this book is it has 8 sharp corners. Whenever I'm looking at Silver Age books, it's the first place I go. Because right away, if one of these corners has a visible color-breaking bend, it's going to drop it down to, at the very minimum, a 9.0. There are some cases it could be a 9.2. It would have to be 1/32 of an inch. And sometimes this is pretty common, especially as you get into Copper Age books. When they cut books, sometimes a corner would not be sharp. So that's just part of production. I have a hard time giving a book a 9.8 with that, but I can give a book a 9.6 if it doesn't have all 8 corners, and the one that's missing is very small. So this has all sharp corners with no color breaks. That's important. Next thing I look for is the spine. And you go up this spine, and this book would benefit from a press. I think that the press it got, I really call it a courtesy press. It's just so the book looks better in hand, but I don't think it's technically going to bring the grade up that much because of the color breaks. It's really technical here, but as you get up into the Gold Key, you have a pretty long color break that's not going to go away with the press.
Yeah, there's 2 big things on the front cover that I see like immediately.
Okay, so there's that big crease. What else?
And then there's this situation by the staple.
So there's like a cluster that I can press out. So there'll still be
color breaking.
There'll still be color breaks here. Yeah, this whole area where the Gold Key is, once I press it out, it will stand out a little more. The back cover looks fantastic. It has some spine stress lines that will essentially go flat and you won't even be able to notice them. But it's very white. The corners look great. The whiteness of this book really brings it up a notch in my mind. It's just, it really plays well in hand. So we both are really close, and this is why it takes two of us to grade. We'll talk about it. And
I
usually,
mean, I feel like Very Fine Minus is probably
I knew
a
you
little
would.
bit more accurate.
No, as soon as you said, Very Fine, I knew that as we talk about things, bringing a grade up's harder than bringing a grade down. We usually grade down once we start talking.
Yeah, well, it has grease pen on it too, which we didn't mention.
Yeah, well, the grease pencil doesn't bother me, and I don't think it drops it under Very Fine Plus.
Just something to mention, because I know someone will say something about it.
No, I'm glad you did. One thing about this grease pencil is I can get it off. So if I chose to, I can get it off. I personally like it, and I actually like this book. So these are really hard to find and grade. Like I think I mentioned, 1965.
Mm-hmm. And in the scan, you probably won't be able to see all the nail bends. There's a lot of like dings on the cover that you can't see unless it's in like a specific light, which you'll be able to get out with the press most likely.
Going by what I just said, if you just go by the corners by themselves, which is huge, by the way, in this era, to not have a bent corner. If you just go by the corners, and she'll show the scan in a bag, it looks really good. And this is probably a book I'd even keep until I can find a better replacement. But I really like this, and I got others. And this one also presents very high, but we're not going to grade them all. I'm just going to show them to you. It's got some wrinkles I can press out.
This is number 13, Space Family Robinson.
Yeah, so that's earlier. When you see the Space Family Robinson, that means it's earlier. And as it got later, it went Lost in Space. So
this is number 20.
And then, yeah, I think that the covers are okay. I don't think they're great cover books, personally. I
don't like the style very much.
Well, it's painted cover.
Yeah.
Back then, that's the kind of stuff I'd read all day. I really would, because that really interested me. I didn't buy this particular book, but I bought books just like it, because I did read things like Richie Rich and Dot. I'd read Family Circus in the newspaper every Sunday, and they'd have a story and something would be happening with the kids at the breakfast table or something. I just wanted to kind of show some grading techniques that we use, and it really has to do with understanding defects. Hopefully that helps people that have been asking some questions, and we'll do that from time to time. We'll just pull a book out.
Just takes practice.
And if I press this, I'll bring it back and we'll talk about the before and after.
Yeah.
But like I said, this isn't the type of book I would expect a great bump on. I just think it would even look better with a press, because you can see some of the indentations and the.
Well, if you can get a Very Fine Near Mint for something like that from 1965, that's pretty good.
Well, I think that the color, a 9.0 in that book is high grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost seems impossible, honestly, with how old it is.
It does. How are you keeping it? And it's like, you got to realize they weren't slabbing till the 2000s, so that would mean a book like that would have to hang out for 30 years in bags and boards, or not being schlepped or sitting in an attic. Who knows? Let's talk about some slabs.
This is Alpha Flight number 8. John Byrne cover. It's a 9.6 white pages, Winnipeg pedigree.
Yeah. So why would I buy Alpha Flight number 8 at all? I mean, I probably have 10, 15 copies of this, because it is a rare pedigree. In this year, in 1984, there weren't a lot of pedigree books. A lot of the pedigrees that had come out had stopped collecting. So I really like, the more modern I can get on a gold label pedigree, I just buy them. I don't even care what it is, as you're about to see a little bit. But because pedigrees, there's not a lot of them, and the ones that are there are pretty much what's going to be. I mean, a lot of people feel that all the pedigrees are kind of found, and now it'll go into a different phase.
I know. We'll see if there are more that come up. Here's Astonishing Tales number 22. It's an 8.5 off-white white pages. The Living Colossus, Gorgilla story from Strange Tale 74, partially reprinted in flashback. Also a Winnipeg pedigree.
Yep, and you're familiar with this series because 3 issues from now is going to be the first appearance of Deathlock.
And John Romita.
So 8.5, I would never typically buy an 8.5 of this book.
And off-white pages, off-white white.
But it's a pedigree.
Yeah.
So in this pedigree, for the price that I paid, I went ahead and got it, and I was happy to get it, actually. I got some nicer ones, though, like this one.
This is Daredevil 161, 9.6 white pages, Bullseye and Black Widow appearance, Frank Miller and Klaus Janson cover.
Yeah, so this is a sick Bullseye cover and a pedigree. Now, I haven't looked them up one at a time. I know I went to some of them. For instance, there was a Wolverine number 1 for sale in his first long-running series, and and it was a 9.6, and when it went over, I think $300, I backed off.
Yeah, that's
which is more than a 9.8 is, because other people appreciate the fact that these are pedigrees. So what I was saying is I want to go back and see how many graded copies are actually pedigrees. You're going to find on these, not like earlier books from early 70s, you might have 7 or 8 pedigrees that went into that. I don't think there's going to be more than one, and it could just be this one.
This is Fear 18. It's a 9.4 white pages with Man Thing. Also Winnipeg pedigree, John Romita cover.
Yeah, this is a nice book. This is up my alley. I prefer books like this in 9.6 and 9.8. Can't always get them like that. I'll probably put this for sale at some point.
Yeah. Here is Master of Kung Fu number 26, 9.6 white pages. First appearance of Cursed Lotus. Gil Kane and Tom Palmer cover. Another Winnipeg pedigree.
Yeah. And you know what? I like the earlier Master of Kung Fu's, especially in the 20-25 cent. So this is great. Happier to pick this up, actually.
This is Master of Kung Fu 72. Mike Zet cover, your fave, 9.8 white pages, Winnipeg pedigree.
Sick Mike Zet cover. If you've never seen this cover, this is the belle of the ball. I mean, of all these books, there's another Mike Zet cover coming, but I love his covers from this era. I think he was just firing on all pistons, and he's one of my favorites from the Bronze Copper Age.
Here is Master of Kung Fu number 78. It's a 9.6 white pages. It has a letter from Kurt Busiek. Mike's that cover once again. Another Winnipeg pedigree. Are you seeing the theme here? Yeah,
this is a nice book. I actually think that they might have been able to get a 9.8 on this by looking at the way that the spine is. It can be cleaned up a little bit, and I don't see a lot of color breaks.
There's like one color break on the front cover. Here's Power Man and Iron Fist number 66, the second appearance of Sabretooth. Frank Miller cover, 9.6 white pages, and a Winnipeg pedigree.
Yeah, this is nice.
A couple raws of these.
We have a couple raws right now, and they're mid-grade. Really, 9.8 is the investment grade for this book. I'm happy with this 9.6 pedigree. All right. And anything I can get like this, I love this stuff, even though it's not hot. None of this is hot. I don't think there's a hot book in that stack.
It's surprising that's not, since it's a bigger key.
It was. So, and I think...
Power Man and Iron Fist is what I'm talking about.
Well, I am too. So this Power
I'm
Man...
just telling them.
I understand, but this is the second appearance of Sabretooth. So it'll always have people that want it. But when you talk about second appearances, you're in a different tier of collectibles. I mean,
Sabretooth has looked cooler than this, though, I will say.
That's not Sabretooth.
Well, there you go. Well, maybe they should have put Sabretooth on the cover. That maybe would have made it better. Because, like, Sabretooth's so cool.
No, you're 100% right.
I think of those Wolverine covers with him.
But I don't think they were understanding what they were going to do with Sabretooth later. Maybe. That he became such a big character.
That's fair.
You're right, though.
Second app, so
if it was a Sabretooth cover, it would be a lot more sought after.
Yeah.
Although I do like this cover.
It's cool.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Son of Satan, number 4, 9.4, off-white pages. It's a Frank Giacoya cover, Winnipeg pedigree.
Yeah, I like this book. Once again, I just picked up everything I could within the genre that I really feature, and I just put this kind of stuff in the vault. And
this is my favorite one that you got.
There's a reason, yeah. We'll talk about this. Show this book.
This is Vault of Evil number 4, 9.4, white pages, Frank Brunner, Winnipeg pedigree.
Yeah, so I like Frank Brunner art. I really do. Cool. He's so Wrightson-like. You can tell that Bernie Wrightson was a huge influence in what they were doing, but I like the melty teeth, man. You get me every time with the melty teeth. It's a nice book. All
right, here is War is Hell number 2, 9.4, off-white, John Severin, Winnipeg pedigree. This is really cool.
So the reason I got this, because I'm a John Severin fan. The more I see his work, the more I appreciate his art. I mean, I just think he's phenomenal, and he's so detailed. He did not call it in. He worked on his art, on his work, and I really like the vignettes.
Yeah, I was like, this feels very old school, like older than bronze.
It does. It feels like the Golden Age stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. Here's Worlds Unknown number 1. It is a John Romita cover, 9.4, off-white pages. Frederick Pohl and Edmund Hamilton story adaptations, Winnipeg pedigree.
Yeah, I really like under the price you see that square.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think that's really cool how they put that science fiction square in there.
The Martians.
Yeah, and you got octopus with hands coming out of there. I like it. I'd have bought this when I was a kid.
That's really cool.
I like all these types of books.
It's number 1. Yeah, that's nice.
Another one from that series, last book.
Worlds Unknown number 5, 9.6, off-white pages. Adaptation of A.E. Van Vocht's Black Destroyer, another Frank Giacoya and Gil Kane
Yeah.
cover, another Winnipeg pedigree.
Very cool. And look again, under the 20 cents, you see the werewolf dude.
Is that this series does that?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The Black Destroyer.
It's great. I think that's kind of early, actually, putting pictures up there.
This is very Alien-esque.
I think this is before, it's before UPC codes, so...
Oh, so that's like the...
Which would be down here, but then later on they put these types of... it was either Spider-Man or some picture or some drawing of something. But I like the way they did it.
I know, this feels like more, because it's part of the trade dress. I like that better.
Yeah, so that's it. I got some more books coming that I'll have in the next week or two.
I've never seen this many pedigrees at one time. It's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big stack of pedigrees.
I actually bid on more, and I tried to stay away from them if the price got out of line. Yeah, those 13 books cost me $1,500. And I know people are always interested in money.
And that's with fees and everything. And
yeah,
shipping and
that's out the door.
everything.
Out the door, $1,500. That's the end of this episode.
That's the end.
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe and click the little notification bell so you can get notified whenever we post a video or we go live, which we've been doing more often recently over here. And then follow us over on Instagram where we do our claim sales every Monday.
I'll be in San Diego for the Comic Con, so maybe I'll be able to see some of you out there. Haven't been there since 2001, I think.
That's so crazy.
It's been a minute. Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you guys
Till
for
next
watching.
time. Thanks.
Bye.